Hello friends, Namaste, Jai Hind. So there are a lot of students who are just face trouble like understanding about what are OEMs, what are ODMs. So we would study around like 35 to 40 subjects in complete whole engineering. So we have to understand like what are the core fields that we need to choose. There are different domains, like let's say for example we studied about engineering drawing, we studied about machine drawing, about casting, about theories of machines, strength of materials, every subject. But actually in industry point of view, how is it really making important for them? So we have to understand that segregation of the industries, like segregation of topics in that industries. So in this video we'll try to understand all those things. So let's say for example, if you are a fresher, you must know about what are OEMs are, you know about what vendor companies are, or what outsourcing means, so which are product based companies and which are service based companies. So these are the basic terms that you have to be get aware about of. Let's say for example, if you are starting your engineering, so you would have known about it. You must know this, like what could be the career perspective on these things. So all those things which are very basic, but you need to know everything. So that is what the main intention is. So we'll try to cover in this video. So let's get started. So yeah, here. So first I'll segregate as I mentioned completely at top words, like there is mechanical engineering. So we'll just divide mechanical engineering into some easily to segregate it. Let's say for example, if I'm so in mechanical engineering we'll segregate mechanical engineering into three different parts. Let's say for example, so we'll segregate mechanical engineering into three different parts. That would be around let's say this would be design part. Okay, when I say design, it's nothing but CAD, right? CAD and CAM. See, who know the, like let's say for example, what is CAD? CAD is computer aided design, right? In this way, like this is manufacturing, computer aided manufacturing, and this is computer aided engineering, right? So this would be computer aided engineering. So I'll briefly explain about what these designing different parts is. Let's say for example, in designing, so what we basically do, what the basic things happens, like we'll start if we come with any idea, so we'll do sketching, that is called designing part. So we'll always start with this designing part, right? We'll always start with design part. Then we'll do some if after the completion of designing, if everything goes great, then we'll comes to prototype part. So after that prototyping, I'm talking about traditional way, like let's say for example, we'll do prototyping, we'll make a prototype, and then we'll just directly jump into the manufacturing part. That is what the traditional way. So but nowadays it's also happening, this CAE part comes in field, so that the prototyping cost, whatever the prototyping cost, that would be helpful for in this prototype, in this mediocre part. So that is the complete life scan basically, if I'll just put it on a very layman language. So yeah, so this analysis part comes in between, so that we can save the cost of prototyping and all these of analysis, so labor cost and everything. So we'll able to decrease all this with the help of CAE analysis part. So this is what the basic concept is. So this is a complete segregation of the whole engineering. If I talk about like whatever 35 to 40 subjects, that completely divided into these only, these parts only, whatever I have mentioned, these parts only, right? So let's start with if I have to, so we need to understand the different so these are, I hope you get it right, designing, manufacturing and CAE. If I have to study, if I can mention like what designing will do, like let's say for example, we study about engineering drawing, like machine drawing, all these things. So these are the very basics for design, right? In manufacturing, we would have attended the workshops. We have the we have labs of lathe machines, CNC machines. So all these are like comes under the manufacturing part. We would have done like if we have a curriculum in curriculum, if you have mentioned finite elements method, we have to that sub, or used HyperMesh tools or something. So these are the CAE part. So let's start with like if I have to mention like what are the tools. Let's say for example, if you are a very basic, if you are a fresher, so if your college suits, if your college provides, so you would have start learning those tools, whatever I'm going to mention. If it is not, let's say if you have passed out, then whatever the tools I am going to mention you have to start learning those according to your preference. Let's say if you want to take a job in designing field, if you want to take a job in manufacturing field, or you want to take make a career in CAE field, so you have to go through and you have to make it as per your choice. Let's say for example, if I have to, I'll just first start with designing field. Let's say for example, like this, yeah. So I'll start with CAD part. So what are the basic tools that you need to keep in mind? The AutoCAD. So a lot of people would be aware of this, what is AutoCAD, because this is a very basic concept. Even in engineering colleges also, they give a little basic hinge of it, so that you can able to understand designing. So yeah, I think the first thing you have to learn is AutoCAD. Then there would be SolidWorks. There is a tool like SolidWorks. Okay, this you have to understand. Then you have to also, there is other tool like CATIA, so you can also learn this. And there is Creo and Annex, etc. So these are the few there are the few tools that you need to keep in mind. Either you want job in an OEMs. In a bit time I'll just explain what OEM is. So understand about automobile industries. Let's say for example, if you want to get into an automobile industries, or in a PSU, or in a PSUs, or any kind of a local industry, so you have to know about these tools if you want to get into an designing field, right? So hope you can make it clear. So then next part is your manufacturing part, right? So I'll start with like, let's say for example, in CAM. So I'll just first, I think as per my knowledge, you have to be very clear with your basics first of all, because manufacturing is the core thing. Manufacturing is the core thing. So you have to be very clear with your basics, like what foundry is, what casting is, right? Whatever we have done in our workshops, so you have to be very clear with those things. Then you have to be very clear with your, in these areas, like let's say for example, you have to understand what 3D printing is, because nowadays it is getting very boom, and industries are asking about it. You have to stand in codes and codes, whatever the codes we do, basically I have to test this codes and lathe machine display. So you need to keep in mind, if you have to learn about if you want to go and choose about manufacturing thing, right? I think it's made clear. Next, the last thing comes our analysis part. Let's say for example, in CAE, in analysis, this would be, a lot of people will be aware about of it, but CAE is something that very less people, and even in a curriculum it is taught in a very less way. So I'll just little bit elaborate it. So what is CAE? CAE is nothing but it's basically deals with the analysis simulation. Okay, so let for example, I'll just give a very raw example so that you can understand in a very simple manner. Let's say for example, I have to do a crash test, or I have to understand the analysis of a car. So what are the basic traditional way? So I'll just build, I have a design, I'll just go to manufacturer, I'll just make a prototyping, and I'll just test it out, right? Clearly, I'll physical. In that we used a labor chart, then we used materials and all. So all these things, what we are doing, we are using physical parts, so that understand that my prototype is okay or not. So all these factors are coming in it. So if it is not, if the prototype not well, so what we'll do, we'll go again, we'll back to designing again, we'll prototype again. There's a lot of things are coming into mind, right, coming into consideration. But when it comes to CAE, it makes a simulation part. Let's say for example, it makes in virtual form, it makes car into in virtual form and do an analysis on that, right, clearly. So you don't have to make any physical prototyping, so that so that you have to understand the different components. So it basically, you just make virtually a car, simulation car. So in that you'll do virtually the analysis part, how much load if we put it, how much the analysis will be happening, how much the breakages would be happening. So in simply we can understand it, right, CAE. So that would helps in decreasing our labor charge, okay, decreasing in our material cost, right. So all these things are very basic, that is helps in understanding it. So that is what the CAE part comes in. So in that there are different tools that you have to learn, so that you can get it industry ready, so that you can understand what industry is needed. Let's say for example, we have the AutoCAD, SolidWorks for designing part, and for simulation, even for analysis part, you have to learn the few tools. Let's say for example, if I have start with, the first thing is you have to learn tool name HyperMesh. Okay, these are basic. There is a concept like pre-processing to the post-processing thing, like meshing, deep penetrations, intersections. So all these are different things that we'll do basically in HyperMesh. So yeah, in coming videos, in coming days, I'll be making a detail about CAE oriented thing. So just in a raw thing, in an overview, just to understand about their different tools like HyperMesh. Even we have ANSYS. Then we have tool name ANSYS, okay, etc. Then we have source and all. So but in a very simple way, just understand there is a HyperMesh, ANSYS. So all these are what? These are simulation tools. So if you have to get into it, so this is what all this overview comes in. So I'll just explain you very clearly about that. In industries, they are divided to two parts. There would be product based company or service based company. Clear? So in product based company, what they are doing, they are making actually any kind of product. Let's say for example, if I have to, let's say this would be a cycle. So there is a cycle company that is making. So what this is basically actually a component. But a service based company, it is not making any, but he's providing a service. Like let's say for example, TCS. What TCS does, it provides services. It's not making any physical product, right? It is whatever the expertise he is having, he is just sending to any like foreign client or an Indian client. So right, so that is what the servicing is. So what teaching is, I'm not selling you any product, but I'm selling my expertise or an experience, whatever it having. So this is kind of a service. The product is we have making any kind of physical product that could be used in any industry point of view, right? This is what the product based companies. Let's say for example, we have product based companies like let's very example like Amaraja batteries. We have battery company, right? You would have heard about it, Amaraja batteries or Excite batteries. I'm talking especially about in mechanical field only. Excite, yeah. So these are what basic, or if you talk about like Bosch, all these are what product based companies in mechanical. Clear? Even in service based companies, in mechanical, if you want to, even the TCS does service for mechanical and Capgemini, all these are services companies, even for the mechanical engineers. Few seconds before I have mentioned about like CAE field. So in CAE field, a lot of, even in the designing field also, the lot of these companies, lot of the service based companies work for it. Clear? So this is what the complete overview, this is what the product based companies and service based companies are. Then one more thing that you need to keep in mind is there are companies named OEMs. So what are OEMs are? These are original equipment manufacturing companies. original equipment manufacturing companies. Let's say these are the companies. Let's say I'll just give it a very raw example. Let's say for example, I'll just wake up tomorrow and I'll just think that, bro, I just want to make a Ferrari car for me with my name brand, right? So but I don't have any expertise, I don't have any plant, a huge manufacturing plant so that I can make there, or I don't have any designing or anything, but just I have an idea. Clear? So I have the two conditions. Either I'll go to OEM, there's other word called ODM. Clear? So either I'll go to OEM or ODM. Clear? So OEM is basically having the tie with the product based companies also, right? The few times even for the designing team also, even from the designing team. So the major aim of OEM is to make your complete whatever they may not be having a design, but if you haven't clear, if you want to create the car, let's say as I mentioned, like I have to make a Ferrari car, so I'll just go there and just Ferrari type of car, not Ferrari car, Ferrari type of car. So let's say then I go to the OEM and I just give an idea. So what this OEM does, if he's having a design, well and good. If it is not having a design, then it take an expertise from the other side, and because they are majorly expertise in manufacturing, they are majorly expertise, they can assemble and they can make the car on ground, right? So these are the majorly the companies are. Then ODMs. ODMs are the companies that majorly they have their own designs. Okay, so ODMs are basically they have their own designs. So the few times I have only design, I can make only design, but I can't afford, and I don't have any manufacturing plant, I can't manufacture my car. So by the at that time I'll just go to the OEMs, I'll just put it my design and they'll send it to OEMs and they help it to create that product whatever I just want to make it, right? So basically the difference is, this is what the majorly design part, as is equipment manufacturing it is mentioned. Clear, right? Again, these all comes under the law of the product based companies, even the some part, even the service based companies. Clear? So in India, if let's say for example in India, or that matter if you're globally, if you have to, let's say for example if I'm graduating now, so the first thing that I need to keep in my mind is that whatever the company I'm choosing is that company is OEM or a product based company or a service based company or a ODM company. So this is what the clarity that you have to keep in mind. And again, one more thing just I have figured it out, like I forgot to explain you about vendor companies. About vendor companies, sorry, I just put it clearly here. Vendor companies or outsourcing companies. Clear? So there are a lot of times, like let's say for example if you have done coaching and just you went into some other XYZ company, and so your nameplate would be some from other company. Let's say for example if I'm working for a Tata Motors, so sometimes Tata Motors, whatever the projects they are having, so they will not do. Let's say for example if I just put it on a scale like 100%, so nearly 20% of work will be done by some other person, right? So 80% would be done by their own in-house people, and 20% work are done by some XYZ company. So the company which are working for them, they are the vendor companies of Tata Motors. Clear? So these are the vendor companies also. Even the few companies which are vendor to, let's say they put placed, and let's say for example if you're searching for on LinkedIn, searching on LinkedIn about the job, so there would be some kind of vendor company, XYZ vendor company that would be saying that I will be working for a Tata Motors. So yeah, so this is also happening in the market. This is also happened in market, not just in India, everywhere. So outsourcing is very common. So if you get a chance to even work for an outsourcing, so initial days it would be better if you can work in. So this would be vendor company or an outsourcing company is. So yeah, I think I have mentioned, right? I've given the overview, what are the tools are important, what are product based companies, what are service based companies. Clear? What are vendor companies and all. So all things I have mentioned which are very basic, it's very basic that we have to keep in mind, right? So yeah, This is what I want to explain you all. So if you can find any help from this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and please share with your friends basically, so that because these are very important, right? These are very basic that if any graduate know this, they may be in a good path, right, basically. So right, so don't forget to share and यार सब्सक्राइब कर लो, ठीक है? ओके देन, बाय, जय हिंद.